Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well. It is great to see you back on our webinars. Today, we are talking about Delve, a very underutilized tool in the Office 365 suite. You're already paying for it in Office 365, so might as well get started to using it. And today, we'll do a quick demo as far as an introduction to how you could utilize Delve, what it can do for you, and how it really works as well. Before we begin, thank you again for joining the webinars. We've had many different webinars throughout this series, including Microsoft Teams. We've done SharePoint, we've done OneDrive, and so many more. So if you want to look at any of those webinars, definitely subscribe and look forward to that on our website. A quick intro into what we do as well. We are a Canadian-owned business that have offices all throughout North America, and we've got a huge offering from majority of Microsoft products and services, including Dynamics, for instance, and CRM, and so on and so forth. So as a gold partner, we bring you Microsoft Delve. Now, what I'll do is I'll jump right into the actual environment. So if you don't mind, we'll get to that, and I'm just going to pull it up here. So to get into your portal, basically with Office 365, you get a visual of the entire application suite as well with all the tools and services that you have. So for example, your Outlook, OneDrive, and you can reorganize or customize these in any way, shape, or form. If you don't have Delve pop up as your top few applications, if you click this little hyperlink on the bottom here, it says explore all of your apps, you will actually see all of the apps that you have entitled to or have provisioned within Office 365. So if you take a look, like you can scroll down and look at all the different applications that are included within your license. So for today's purpose, we're going to look at Delve, which is the fourth icon right here, and it's a very standard, it looks similar to Outlook and other icons that are there, but just a big D on top of it. So let's take a look and we'll pop that open here. Once you do that, you can actually look at the main page. So what Office Delve is basically a cloud-based solution that you could display your personal content in. It's powered by Office Graph, and I can chat a little bit more about what Graph does, but it's basically a database that collects the information on, a user identity level, and it based on the number of activities that you're having as a user, from OneDrive for Business to SharePoint, Exchange, all of these applications that kind of prize that information based on what you're working on and who you're working with. So if you look here, there's popular documents that pop up. These are documents that either I'm currently working on or are actively working with someone else with. So basically, Delve is a collaborative tool, and it helps you, find content, find colleagues that created, edited, or shared those documents, as well as the ability for you to embed those documents, or whether it's videos or images, and so on. So depending on your profession or your need, you could do that. So like I mentioned, right away you see the popular documents. These are documents that more people have accessed with you and shared with you from different platforms. And this is the main page. Now, you don't have to log into SharePoint or OneDrive or any other exchange to be able to see, like, find those attachments that have been sent to you, or documents that you've stored in different folders. These all present to you in a form of a content card, which we'll kind of discuss a little bit more as well. So on that note, actually, just straight off the bat, Delve does not change the permissions, right? So you only see the things that are yours or that you have access to or have been shared to you with. So there is a degree of transparency when it comes to this, but again, it's your permissions or your security is not compromised in any way, shape, or form. You still have, for instance, full control over who has access to what, and what people, private documents, and what you do and don't want others to see. So just take a quick tour of this. There's a search bar on the top left side here. And if you were to click this, it kind of gives you some suggestions whether it's people or documents that you may be looking for. But you could actually do full wildcard searches here. Or if I was to just pull up something, let's say if I want to look at, I don't know what else would be here. Let's say we can look at products, right? I want to look at documents that have products. If I was to just search the name product, not only does it search people that may know products, like product managers or people who've talked about products, right, in their profiles. But it also searches documents, right? So not only does it give you the expert people within that field, and there's a whole bunch of them, where you can see all, but it also gives you documents. So not only does it tell you the document names, in which, ironically enough, it doesn't have any title. The titles, none of the titles have the word product in it, but it also searches the terminology within, or or the words within that document, right? So it's a really great tool because you can actually see what's things maybe you remember, someone had shared a file with you that you just cannot locate, and it has a particular word that you remember, or a title, or that you've shared it with someone. You could actually just search that terminology and you could see all the documents filtered that way. What it could also do is wildcard searches. So usually when it's like, let's say, company with a star, or um, company, right, it actually shows up, let's say, like this. So computers, or company, right, it searches up different things, just based on, 4 letters. You could also filter those results, right? So these are all types of results, but if you want to filter those to, let's say, only Excel files or PDFs, or only, you could do that as well. You could also see, so these are different contact cards. Within here, you could actually see, which boards they've been added to, who can actually see this document. You can copy a link and share it out, or send it directly through an email. And you could also create different boards, and we could talk about that as well in a few minutes here. So a really powerful search feature as well, that can locate data that you need right away, without having to waste your time searching for through all the different applications that we use nowadays in the modern workplace. Now you can also see, so if I was to go back home, now there's a couple ways I could do that. Now I could just click on this Delve here, or I could just look at all the other applications that I have here, and access Delve here. But just go back to our home. You could see within here all the people that have worked in documents. So if I was to go on Nestor, I could see his profile. I could see the people that he works with, closely, as well as the documents that he's working with. Now remember, these are only documents that he's has access to, or are sharing with. So it's not all documents that he's created, but perhaps also that have been shared. So for example, Joni or Diego might have shared these documents with Nestor, and therefore he could see these in his page, in his one thing to keep in mind there, and you may have noticed this, that you've got Excel, you've got PowerPoint, you've got Word, you've got a whole bunch of different supported content, document content, and so all of Office is available. So Word, PowerPoint, Excel, definitely. OneNote is another option. PDFs can also be pulled up here. Tasks, if you've created them, video, if those have been shared. You could even see, for example, links to public pages. Like if you had something posted on a Yammer site, you could actually pull that out here as well. And of course, all those have permissions. And you could even see email attachments. And of course, you'd have to, set up some systems, but those aren't searchable right away. But you could at least see those, the emails that have been sent, and things like that. Right, you could see your organizational chart from within here as well, so you can access people, and directly work with them. And you could see his main page. So I'm going to show you my profile as well within here. But basically, I can give Nestor a call, whether it's through Skype, or send him an email right from within Delve. I don't have to actually open up my Skype or Teams or anything else. I could also see his schedule. So unfortunately, you can only see the today's date, but it's still pretty powerful, because you can see, hey, maybe I need to, chat with him at a particular, content. I can see what times he's open, and book a slot in. Seems Nestor is really open today. I could book based on his timing here. You can see his, background, his summary of, who he is, what he's capable with, and all the different skills and levels that he's got. And again, if I click that view profile, it kind of breaks that down into all the projects maybe that he's done, some of the skills and expertise that he qualifies for, his education, any interests or hobbies that he may have. And this is great because, again, you can connect with people and they can connect with you as soon as there's some sort of an need for that, right? So that's an important tool as well. Now, if we go back to our home, you could see these documents. If I wanted to create, let's say, a board, let's say, and boards are basically relevant or for related documents. So users can actually create boards to, arrange or organize documents in a way that may be related to a particular project, or allows, access for everyone within that department or involved in that project to be able to take a look at that document. You can enable, additional users to that, and various different content cards. For example, this one right now is in the Markate project team, and that's synchronized with my Microsoft Teams, projects that may have been set, or I may have folders and stuff like that synced with OneDrive. It all synchronizes to where that file is located. You could see how many views that file have had. For example, this has only had 2 views, whereas this one's had only 1. And it's easier to do. I can look at who's seen this particular board or document. So if I open this content card, it'll show you all the different files that are within that project, like I was mentioning. So this resides in SharePoint, right? It pops up SharePoint. I can look at that this is a public group. It's got the team that's there, and it populates all of the documents that are within that file. You could see again the updates here, so who's been modified by and when. But you can also see and grant access from here. So this is where I was talking about. You can actually set permissions to modify, make sure that only people who have access or need access to it have it. So there's direct access, and then people who have links. No one has links to this item at this time. And I can from here. This is a view only, for example. This is an edit as well. You can change, member access from here. Okay, so let's go back to our Delve. So like I said, you could see who's seen it. You could copy a link and send a link for this particular content directly from here. And let's say I want to favorite this. So as soon as I favorite this, it turns blue, and I can favorite a couple documents. And on the left side here, you could see a favorites tab. If I click that, those documents should pop up, and as they did. Right? And so these are documents that are maybe more relevant, or I'm working on right away, and then you can at any time unfavorite them, and they disappear, right? Back to our home, let's see if we want to create a board. Let's say I'm working on this project data, and I need another department or another project involved. So I can click this icon right here beside favorites to manage my boards, right? So it's easier for us to and for other people to be able to locate that data. Let's say one board I'm going to create as projects, right? Or I have created as projects. Simply enter that, and that board pops up here. And if you notice, it'll tell you how many boards this document is residing in, and the boards just populate here. So if I click projects, you will be able to see that document come up. Right now, let's say if I want to add another board to this, or I just click this, add another board. Maybe it's HR related stuff. I can add that board, and then I could choose different documents to add in there. For example, I want this to be in projects as well. Simply, and that populates back into that projects board there as well. So pretty important tool here for organizing that data and making sure that you could locate the documents that you want on boards as well. So let's go down into this me icon. Again, this is where I can create my backgrounds. I can change my cover photo, for example. So similar setting to maybe perhaps Facebook or other products where you can modify and edit your profile. I can change my emails and my OneDrives, and you can see the calendar here where people are busy or not. So if I was to look at my page, I could see all of the documents and email attachments included that maybe I have worked on recently, right? So whether it's a sales process document or an overview of that, I can click that document and it will just open up in wherever that document is residing, for example, in SharePoint, this one, and that document pops up, and now I can collaboratively work on this, and everything is as it is in Excel. Right. I could also see people that I've worked with closely, and I could see all of them, and I can maybe perhaps open any of their profiles and be able to see what they're working on and who they're working with, and so on as well. So that's pretty pretty cool. So again, on my page, I can change backgrounds, update my profile, or from within here, update my skills and add, multiple different maybe projects that I've worked on that maybe qualify me for a particular, another project that may be out and about and people need, my expertise. I could do that, edit all of that stuff from within here. So this profile really presents the information about you, and people can search that. All right. So one thing to keep in mind here, just a note, is that documents that are on your desktop or on your drive is not going to populate on Delve, right? Unless you sync the files. So in order for this to work effectively and for you to be able to collaborate and get the most out of it, you should upload, share documents and with people and enjoy the benefits of the cloud. And that's where you can be transparent in your collaboration and make sure that you have the right access given to those documents. Now, there are documents that again you could private or you don't want people viewing it. You could change those settings. So for instance, if you go into the settings tab here, you could see notifications and things here that maybe people tagged you with. But if you go into the settings thing here, you can change your theme of your Delve, for example, or the different settings in your language and time zones and all the standard settings. But if you go into these feature settings, let's say you don't want other people to kind of take a look at your documents, you can actually turn that feature off, right? So you can, this will still have those documents, but it take a while as well to turn off, maybe perhaps a week or so. Or quicker sometimes, depending on how much information is shared, but it just won't show up on Dell, and people won't be able to search those documents if that's the corporate kind of thing. And you could just change the settings and go okay. One thing I haven't talked too much about, and I'll touch on just the last 2 points here, is My Analytics. So this is a really cool feature which is fairly new within Microsoft as well. And you can see insights, and that's all in Delve as well. You can see all of the different meeting hours that you've had. As you can see, I've been a slacker in the last little while here. Don't worry, it's not me. This is Megan or my administrator account. And you can see how much time you've had, to focus and so on and so forth, and who, all the different networks that you've worked with, or maybe how many meetings you'd had total time with, Miriam compared to Linda, and so on and so forth. And you could see the trends that you've had, and maybe what's working for you, what hasn't been working for you, and get really insight, about this. So really, really powerful. You can you retroactively go back and check out a couple weeks or months before maybe you've had more productivity another day or week, and you could really break down the way you work effectively. So there's a whole bunch of different things involved with it as well, that you could for within My Analytics. But just to let you know that this does exist, and there is really great use for that as well. Lastly, I haven't connected this, but you can get Delve on mobile apps. So it may be that you're on the go and you need some information, and Office Delve is intended to work across all gadgets. So if you've got an iPhone or an Android, it works on iOS, it works on Windows, it works on Android. So there's mobile apps that you could use and have subscriptions to Office 365, where you could actually revise and view and edit documents from within there. One thing to keep in mind is if you just view the document, let's say I open a document and just view it, no one will be able to know that I've been in here unless I make any sort of particular change in here. Then you could see who's last edited it and what changes those were. But I can view a document without anyone knowing, that I've been at that document. Again, one of the most underutilized tools in my opinion, but it's fascinating because Delve really shows you how you can organize documents and what might be important to you at that time, or relevant, and it surfaces that those documents and that information for you using Office Graph. So Office Graph actually collects and analyzes these signals, from your email or document sharing from other people and so on and so forth, and prioritizes that information so that it could be surfaced for you right away. And that's the gist of it for today. just one more quick thing as well is we've got Encore Care for all of our clients and prospects. Keep in mind that we, have high commitments to our clients, and we've got great help to be able to provide committed support for you. So if there's any questions surrounding that, or what we discussed today on Delve, or any of the matters regarding Microsoft products or services, feel free to reach out to me using the information that I've shared with you. Thank you once again, and hope to see you in the next webinar.